So, how do you deal with negative people and online shit? Let's say you have a channel and you have somebody that's a subscriber, but they're not they're not there to do anything good. They're there to spy on you. They're there to try to do some sort of craft on you. What's the best way to deal with that? And what's the best way to uh, acknowledge it? There's a lot of people that's their main goal is to find somebody to lock into their life, to disrupt them, do some sort of bullshit. What's the best way to identify them? And then once identified, what should you do? It could be hard, but if you have discernment, you're going to be able to tell uh, who are the decent people from the not decent people. Somebody that will be that type will normally suddenly flip the script on you. They'll lose their shit and they'll stop playing their little game that they play. Uh, at some point in time, for whatever reason, because doing that, you're coming from a really bad place inside of yourself. You know, it makes you want to attack and target someone else, or try to disrupt them. Many various things. And people like that, you can tell in their communication because they're not balanced, and they want to attack somebody for some reason that you may not have anything to do with. You may say something. You may, I mean, you could look a certain way. There could be any reason why somebody would target you and then try to cause you problems. Now, ideally, they're not gonna make you aware of them, because if they do that and then you were to block them or whatever you would do, that would be the end of their shit. So they're not going to want to do that. But they may express an overt uh, attention or interest that really isn't warranted at all. This is your black magician types and shit like that. So they're not going to want to make you aware of who they are. But they exist, they're out there. A lot of them have the mind control that causes them to try to find people that are either trying to wake people up or do something good, and they try to thwart their efforts, make their life difficult in some sort of way. They can use their magic, which is dark, and their main goal is to subvert people that are trying to do any real good. And there's a lot of them. They're almost always the ones that gang stalk. Because if you deal with the phenomenon of gang stalking, you're already being targeted and you've already experienced um, unreal levels of events, like people saying stuff that you were thinking in your head. And like when somebody turns in the line at the store, just turns completely around and tells you something that maybe was the last thing you were having a conversation about, or maybe it was something you were thinking in your head. It's highly satanic, but it's not the government. It's not the military per se, but that's not to exclude that those elements aren't part of it, because they are. Now, one reason why you would experience this in your incarnation would be for your own sharpening of you. Because if you experience something like that, the idea is that you're going to need to overcome it and you're going to have to gain some skills to do that. So, what's the best way to do it? Well, first recognize that you wouldn't have the experience if it wasn't something that you had agreed to at another level. Maybe it's not the level of awareness that you ever attain to in your life, but you could. First, by just realizing that it's possible. And from the before life point of view, it makes a lot of sense because it would be part of the experiences that one would encounter when trying to transform themselves. You can fall into a lot of ways. You can fall into addiction, you can fall into depression, and all of these things are an aid to you if you can transmute them, but they're debilitating if you don't overcome them or you don't realize what would be the point of having the experience without the ability to transmute it into something positive and good. That doesn't mean you're going to enjoy it. That doesn't even mean it's going to be a good experience to experience at all. But it does mean that there's something that you can turn it into that can be useful for yourself along your journey and growth. There's a lot of people that want to do a lot of fucked up shit. And if you call them out on it, or if you point out, yeah, there's a reason for why you want to do that, but why would you? Why would you do that if it's ultimately destructive and harmful? A lot of people that want to do terrorism, like people that are suicide bombers, they think they're doing that to obtain to some sort of gift, like as if they're going to be rewarded in heaven for blowing themselves up. And almost the same is true with someone. If you want to destroy something and tear it down without there being an alternative, chaos isn't necessarily the alternative. Being butthurt because of your life circumstance or your situation doesn't entitle you to destroy the world. You want to lash out because you're hurt, you're damaged, and somebody's damaged you. So you want to retaliate. A lot of times you can't even retaliate on the person that hurt you. So you want to lash out on the world, cause destruction and harm, but you feel like you're compassionate. You don't realize that you're a psychopath. Being a psychopath is disregarding the real key things that people need in life to be okay. You know, the system isn't good. It's not even close to fucking perfect. It's all kinds of out of whack. If there was a way to do something about it beyond just trying to raise the awareness of the situation as it is, that'd be one thing. But just to try to strike it and tear it down and let everyone be in a state of fucking chaos from it, that's satanic. That's satanic. There's no higher self guiding that, you know. If that's what you think you need to do, or if that thinking doesn't conclude to that end, you're not dealing with anything but a psychopath, a sociopath, probably a Satanist, whether or not they adhere to that tenet or not. It's basically what you've got. So when you're trying to do something online, try to raise people's awareness, you're going to have this encounter. You're going to, because there's always some reason that you don't know, and there's plenty of people that are programmed to want to strike and attack, a lot of times not even really aware of why they've chosen you to be the target of their bullshit. They will, because you're doing something that's in opposition to what the programming has laid down is its core goals, which is to kill, steal, and destroy. Just food for thought, because you're going to have to deal with this. Everybody has to deal with it when they come online. You're going to meet a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing, and they probably feel like they're doing some real good in their activity, but if they were to really look at it and apply critical thinking, they would see that that's not really what they're doing. They're satiating some urge in their own due to some trauma that they've experienced that they may not even yet be aware of. Or maybe they are. Some of them are quite aware of what they're doing, and they're happy to do it. Because that's the choice you have. You have a free will choice to choose to be a piece of shit asshole and attack somebody that's trying to do something, or even put out an opinion out there, just like with the Charlie Kirk thing. So the more we go along in the future, and the more people rely on AI and things other than their own mind, you're going to see more chaos, more destruction, and more gang stalking. That's just the way that it is.